Hi everyone, first gear review of the new year, and what we have is, this isn't an unboxing video, which you'll be grateful for and I explain why. What we have here is a lot of paper covering the cold steel 1917 Frontier Bowie. The first thing you notice when picking it up, opening the box, is just what a beefy knife it is. I've seen some suggestions from Cold Steel that they can be carried every day, and I know people who do carry the Laredo and the Trailmaster, but you'd have to be a bigger guy than me probably to do this. I mean, just hanging on the belt, you can see it's basically down to my knee level. So as you can see, fits pretty well on the belt. It's very heavy. If I ever were to review just a belt for weight bearing, I might use this knife to test it. I can feel it tugging on this fairly thin belt a lot. Yeah, so it's basically down to the knee. Getting it out, it's a hell of a blade. Obviously I can do it more easily than that, but getting it out is a bit of a job, not something you want to do in a hurry. And again, here's where I would want that steel on the front. If I were to cut through the steel with my hand there, or cut through the leather with my hand there, it would be a little bit unpleasant. But it does the job. I knew it was going to be big, but thinking about it and holding it are two very different things. Overall, in first impressions, the Scabbard, pretty decent leather, not fantastic, but good enough. You can see the stitching is reasonably good quality. The shape at the bottom is fitted all right. There are some gaps between the shape and the leather. Okay, there is some steel reinforcing on the back of the Scabbard here. I would probably rather have had it on the front, just from the edge cutting through the leather there. I've seen some people injured, so I'm not sure why they put it on the back, but it's not bad. Nice hefty frog, 2 layers of fairly thick leather at the top, 3 where it attaches to the Scabbard. I'd be happy to have that on my belt and know it's not coming off. Really nice rivets. That's well constructed. Slides in and out fairly easily. The blade did come coated in, as I said, you'd be glad it's not an unboxing video. The blade did come coated in really thick grease, which I was happy with because it's obviously gone through shipping by sea. So it was the black coating and then the grease on top, which cleaned off pretty easily, but I'm glad it was there. This Scabbard fitting, the frog has the stud which the Scabbard attaches to. In some ways I'd rather have the stud on the Scabbard itself, because then it gives me a little more versatility. If I did want to, for some reason, stick it in my belt, I could. But they've done it this way. I might get another Scabbard made and put the stud on that, or do it myself. And it does clip in tightly. That isn't going to move around very much if you're sort of out somewhere and have it bouncing around. Okay, the grip. The rosewood on the grip is very handsome. It's reasonably nicely finished. The tang, as you can see, goes all the way up to the pommel. It doesn't go all the way to the back. It's about 3/4 of the grip, so it obviously comes down about that far under the screws. The screws look reasonably standard. I haven't tried to take them off and have a look at it, but I imagine they come out reasonably easily. The grip itself, the shaping, is not ideal for me. You can see it's very rectangular. So up at the top, it's a lot like gripping a 2x4 for me. I've got smallish hands, so perhaps if you had bigger hands it would be better, but up here it's not very comfortable. Down here, with a more kind of saber grip on the curve of the pommel, it's a lot more comfortable for me. But I'm probably going to try and smooth these down, make the grip a lot more sort of oval in profile. The guard, very, very solid, as you can see. Curves down, protects the hand quite nicely. I've seen and handled some knives where this curve is really tight on the knuckle and it's very uncomfortable, but this is a good size, will fit a wide variety of people. And this is, at the back, is reasonably well sized. I would probably rather have had an even up curve, just for some of this Bowie fencing that I've trained in uses that hook quite a lot, but it's not a big deal. This is a little too solid to reshape. I might have it replaced in the long run. Now, the blade. Like a lot of cold steel large blades, it's fairly beefy. This will stand up to quite a lot of punishment. It adds a lot of weight to it, but I don't worry about that too much. It's not the fastest blade to move around, but that's fine for something this size. This black coating, I've banged around with it a little bit, and it certainly it doesn't seem to be chipping. I'm reasonably happy with it. The factory edge is sharp, but not as sharp as some other cold steel blades I've had. I tested it just on some of the packaging, as you can see, and just using the weight of the blade, it carves in a certain amount, but the thickness of the blade does slow that down. So just using the weight of the blade, it carves in reasonably easily. Anything more, and I'd have to put a little bit of pressure in. This thick blade does mean it's kind of a wedge, so you want to put some pressure behind whatever you're cutting. It's not a little razor-sharp paper cutting knife. We've looked at the slicing ability, which is there, but not fantastic. Chopping. Just do a little bit of, mind your fingers, kids. Fairly dry wood, fairly easy. No damage to the blade, I wasn't expecting any. Now, something a little more solid. Reasonably quick. Now, you may or may not have noticed a lot of those chops. I started with my hand right up at the top, but by the second or third chop it was back on the pistol grip. So that's pretty clearly how this knife works best. Just to do one more thing, a little bit of battening. One of the problems with a clip with battening is you don't really want to bring down anything heavy on the clip, especially if you've sharpened it. So you need to be use a little bit of judgment. So and bring it down just behind the clip for outdoor use. So after that chopping and battening, just to have a look, the edge is perfectly good. You can see here where the grease is smeared, where the chopping and battening was happening. And the back of the finish, where I was beating for battening, not a scratch on it. I'm very impressed with this. Obviously, I imagine after several years of that, you'll get some dings, but that's fine. This is a beating knife, not a show. Overall impressions, I'm happy with what I paid for it. It's a good, solid, usable knife. It's not something that I will ever try and carry on a day-to-day basis, but for camping, it's fine. As you can see, for battening light wood, it's fine. For light chopping, it's fine. For a lot of outdoor uses, maybe a spear point or a drop point would be better. This clip can damage the guts if you're skinning, but it'll do most outdoor jobs fine. For defensive use, it's a little bit heavy, maybe, and I'd certainly want to sharpen that clip up, but it'll do that job quite happily, and if I had to defend myself against a machete or a baseball bat, I'd be quite happy to stop just about anything that came at me. So not really particularly good at any one of those things, but it'll do anything you want it to well enough. So yeah, worth the buy. But probably for me a project knife rather than something I'm happy with as it stands. I'll work on the scabbard, I'll be working on the blade, and be working on the grip. Should be fun.